If you don't know who Matthew Smuff was, Matthew Smuff was an early video games designer who designed video games for the Sinclair Spectrum, and that was an old fucking like, you know, sort of like your budget PC back in the 1980s. Was created by a guy called Clive Sinclair, who invented the pocket calculator. I'm nearly sure. I think it was him. Aye. And he went on to make fucking like, you know, PCs for the home, but these also had a lucrative video game market, where within within the Sinclair Spectrum, there was a lot of coders from their bedrooms, the dwellings of their bedrooms, making games. Now most people would make wee balls going around the stream, but some people were adequate at making like fucking platformer games like Mario and stuff. And one of those guys was a guy called Matthew Smuff. He invented a video game called Jet Set Willy, and it was a real revolutionary fucking game. Now before I hook you into this boy is an absolute legend in folklore video gaming history. I've actually just looked him up recently on YouTube, and he's a heroin addict. Fucking really tragic case of like a boy with genius, brains, excelled throughout his youth, and then just went progressively downhill through fucking drugs, acid, psychedelics, and then progressed on to fucking heroin and crack or whatever the fuck he's on. He's in a really bad way. He's a really mentally ill kind of guy now. But he made these games called Jet Set Willy and Jet Set Minor or whatever it was. But they were like wee fucking platforming games where they had fully fledged animations and people could jump and all. And they were technically quite impressive for the technology of the Sinclair Spectrum at the time. But he went missing, and he was supposed to release Jet Set Willy, or a sequel anyway, one of the Manic Miner games, or one of the Jet Set Willy games, and he disappeared. And in folklore, throughout the internet, when the internet came along in the early 90s, there was rumours about him. You know, where is Matthew Smuff? Where did he disappear to? Some spotted him making fish in Amsterdam. Some say he joined a commune in Amsterdam. Other people spotted in Brazil, and with like moccasins on, and said there's all these weird stories that pop up about how people seen him in a shopping market in Cheshire and stuff. And then years later, the mystery went on. Whereas Matthew Smuff, no, was kind of like the inventor of Mario, disappeared off the face of the earth. So then, what happened was, me and my cousin Sean were watching a documentary in the year 2000 by a guy called Ian Lee. If you haven't checked this documentary, I recommend you watch it. It's called Fun Candy, and it was presented by Ian Lee on Channel 4 in about 2000. But they managed to fucking track Matthew Smuff down, and they had him on the show. And they also had Shigeru Miyamoto, fucking Nolan Bushnell, all the inventor of the Atari games. The researchers on that show done a brilliant job. They tracked down every video game giant. Ian Lee was able to have a game with Shigeru Miyamoto, inventor of Mario and Zelda. Play a game with fucking the inventor of Space Invaders. You know, we played the games with all the top jackets, Pac-Man, you name it. Fucking, he played with them. But strangely enough, they tracked down Matthew Smuff, and me and Sean were going, oh, we were two video game geeks and we couldn't believe it. We were going, they've got Matthew fucking Smuff, they found him. But he ended up, he was like this mental kiss, living in like a fucking his ma's bedroom or something. And it was so good to see him on that TV show. And one of the things Ian Lee said to him was, you know, how do you feel that 30 years later, 20 years after you've made these video games, people consider you to be, you know, a genius, like a fucking, like a god almost. And he says, well, 5 years after I made it, I was a loser. 10 years after I made it, I was a complete dropout. He said it's come up to 25 years now, and I'm a legend. So it just shows you time remembers people when they do fucking things originally. And that's my wee cue to say I done Northern Ireland voices and dubs first. So take extra banter and all the rest copied me. And Pure Dairy ripped me off too when I started doing song parties in the town first. Boom, they were straight on that dollar. So being original, you know, is what it's all about for me. It's not about getting success or selling out, which everybody seems to do in my name. But I'm not bitter about it. It's just I do care about originality. But he was a guy that deserved a lot more credit. I think on the show he mentioned that he stole the idea from a guy called invented a video game called 2049 Miner or something like that there, but it was essentially Manic Miner was a rip-off of that game. But he was an interesting guy. Matthew Smith is actually off his fucking tits now. Probably smokes crack. What a thought, eh? Fuck.